Welcome, folks. This is Africa Hopes in Christ Zoom meeting on the 21st of August, 2025. Our topic is Egyptology. It's about what race the early Egyptians were. It's about their achievements and their wealth and how they ruled the world at that time. So let's crack on. The first thing I want to talk about is their race. Scientists have reconstructed the face of a man who lived in ancient Egypt 4,500 years ago using the oldest complete Egyptian genome ever found. And he's completely black. So that was something to think about. This is not guesswork, it's science. And what I have certain reasons why I believe the evidence that ancient Egyptians were black. Number one is physical characteristics. Ancient Egyptians' tombs and statues are the artistic pictures. Ancient Egyptians' tombs and statues depicted African features. Secondly, famous figures like Nubian King Pi and Nubian my Harprin were depicted with dark skin. Also, Lady Rai, lady in waiting to Queen Nefertiti, when they examined her mummy, they found dark skin and braided hair. Secondly, the genetic DNA analysis. In 2010, royal mummy of Tutankhamun found to be of the African race. Also, number three, anthropological and skeleton analysis. Southern Egyptians were akin to modern indigenous people of the Sahara and tropical Africa. Some like S.O.Y. Keaton, who was a prominent Senegalese scientist, said an historian said Egyptians had tropical body plans and limbs proportional and similar to Africans. With all this, the science of it, the genetics, the anthropological science, the historical science by Mr. Keaton, and the artistic depictions in the tombs, we've come to the conclusion, and the scientific picture that I've just made, that ancient Egyptians were definitely black. So what were their achievements? What did they do? One of their achievements was the writing system. Yes, the Egyptians designed a writing system for easy communication, and it was something like on the picture. Also, architecture and engineering. Something that we all know that Egypt is very proud of, but they don't mention that it was Black people who built it. The pyramids, the temples, the monuments in Egypt, all built at a time when Black people ruled Egypt. Also, medical science. Egypt was well advanced in medical science. Yes, this is a picture of a woman giving birth in the ancient Egyptian times. They were known to have done cesarean birth, and we also know that they got this from the Zimbabwean Empire. It wasn't originally from the Egyptians. It was from Zimbabwe, the ancient empire of Zimbabwe. And Egyptians took it on board, studied the science, and up to today, we do cesarean births. They're also good in herbal remedies and anatomical studies, which is the basis of Western medicine today. Hippocrates of Greece is not the father of medicine and did not start medicine. That's a lie. It was the African empires and Egypt that started medical science, and the Western medicine is based on it. They had good governance and administration. The pharaoh was a supreme leader, and he wasn't completely without checks. He had a group of nobles and bureaucrats who advised him, like in the Bible says about Joseph's time, when the pharaoh had his advisor. And that's how they governed. They had a parliament similar to what we have on the modern day. So the Western people simply copied the system of governing, and democracy didn't come from Europe at all. They also had trade and commerce. They had extensive trade networks, and they traded they traded in goods with neighboring countries, influencing economic development. And some of the things they traded in was wheat and barley, papyrus for their writing, gold and copper and bronze, spices like myrrh and frankincense, which were made for medical and spiritual purposes, wine and olive oil, and they also traded in knowledge and expertise. For instance, the early Greek people came to Egypt to learn, and all that they learned did not come from themselves as they claimed. It came from Egypt, and they didn't give Egypt the credit at all. They also helped other nations in their military, and they also had craftsmen. And their trading partners were Nubia, Babylon, and the Greeks were some of them in the Western world. They left a cultural legacy, which is influencing our art, architecture, literature, and spirituality. They influenced later civilizations, such as the Greeks and Romans. They made significant contribution to the world, to modern scientists, giving the foundation of science as we see it today. So, how long did this Egyptian people last in their empire, in controlling the world at that time? The Egyptian Empire was in leadership from 3100 BC until 30 BC, when the Romans conquered it, which was about 3,000 years. They were divided into kingdoms. The Old Kingdom which is the rise of Egyptian power, was said to be from 2686 BC to 2181 BC. The Middle Kingdom, which is said to be a resurgence, and there were great cultural achievements after a period of decline. And this was from 2040 to 1750 BC. And the New Kingdom, which was 1570 BC to 1055 BC. And in this period, they had great prosperity, military might, and cultural advancement. One of their notable kings was Tutankhamun. Tutankhamun did a lot for his people, although he was very young when he entered the throne. He's said to be round about 7 years old, so I gather that he had advisors. And he died very early in his 20s. Nefertiti and Tutankhamun's reign is said to be 1332 BC to 1323 BC during the Middle Kingdom. Nefertiti also is another famous queen of Egypt, which we all know about. And she didn't reign for very long, but she guided Tutankhamun and was the power behind him. And this is a picture of Nefertiti. She's completely black. She reigned between 1349 BC to 1336 BC. But as I said, she was the power behind the throne for many more years. Now I want to throw, I hope you're very proud of what Africans did in 3100 BC to 30 BC, when Egypt ruled the world, just before the Romans conquered in 30 BC. And I want now to ask for contributions of what people think of Egyptology and the fact that it was completely Black people that populated Egypt in those early days.
I've read that before.
Yeah?
I've read that before, and it's always nice to be able to hear it again. We need the confirmation, we need the affirmation, and after all, civilization came from Africa, so why couldn't technology come from Africa?
Yes, it did. Thank you. Technology did come from Africa. So this is something they hide at all costs from us. And Sylvain, what do you have to say about Egyptology and the fact that it was completely Black people who ruled the world in 3000 BC?
Yeah, I totally agree, because you see, in my studies, when I studied this history of Africa, you see, Egypt is like kind of the source, the big library of African information started in Egypt. You know, the first letters, mathematics, and things like that. And as Grace said it, you know, almost everything that we invent has been stolen.
Yes.
You see, the aeroplanes, the idea of building an aeroplane it started with black people. Even
Wow.
Ford car started with black people. So there are a lot of things, but because I think overpowering us, what happened throughout the process of life, there's a moment where um, the Western world is just dominating us. All right, they will get the idea from us, they make it big, turn into their ideas.
Yeah.
I just give you one example. I forget his name now, but there's only one doctor in the whole entire planet. There's only one Nigerian doctor. He's the only surgeon that can operate when kids were born, but they're attached together, organs attached together. That could be
Yeah.
the
The
head.
Siamese twins.
There's only one surgeon, the entire planet. Only one Nigerian guy, but nobody talk about it.
Yeah.
If kids are together in Dubai, is the one they will call it. UK come and do surgery here. Everywhere he's the only guy, but nobody actually talk about him. Nobody publish about him, and that's the thing that
Wonderful.
happened in the past with the whatever we have got. They don't want to talk about it. Right?
Do you think we can infiltrate the schools in the West as well as in Africa and teach them these things? Do you think they will agree?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are doing. I went to in London. There is a group of it's a mix African and Caribbeans. They're
Yeah.
actually teaching every Saturdays. There is a school for kids teaching them the African thing that they don't know.
Wonderful. Yes. So rather than going to school, we can have our own online teaching.
They teach them because they need to know that look, because the reality is like you see, if you don't know, you just believe in all the nonsense that's happening right in the world. All right. But when people come to know, then they say, wow. All right. I just give an example here. In the Roman Catholic Church, when they elect the new Pope, which is an American, all right, a lot of people are complaining where there's no African, there are lots of African cardinals, why they don't elect an African? But it's a lack of history knowledge. There were 3 African popes before.
Yes, I've already given a Zoom meeting
also,
on that.
Yeah, and also nobody talk about them. There were exist three big African popes in the past.
Yes.
So if we look into the session of the stories, I don't know. I would say to myself, my belief in God. I said, God, what have we done that we are so? The other part of the world hate us black. I don't really know what we have done. All right. You see, we're the most peaceful people. We're the only people on the planet Earth that don't go into somebody's country and invade it and take part of the country. We don't manufacture guns to kill people. So, so I believe like we should get it. The schools in Africa or associations of youth, they need to really get to the root of the historical facts, so that they know that we are also valuable because our values is still very strong. I just give you an example here. Traore of Burkina Faso, the president of Burkina Faso, when he took power, all the land of Africa, all the tires for cars come from different countries. They have to buy them from countries that made them and ship them, China, wherever. But he just got a guy who is an engineer, knows how to do tires, and then they manufacture, create a manufacture, and they're making the tires for the cars.
Yes, and we have the raw materials, the rubber.
And we have the materials. We have everything.
Yeah.
So these are kind of the thing that people need to know, so that encourage the young people to be creative, inventive, because most of the thing that is actually today is all sourced by Africa.
Yes. Thank you very much. Benjamin, you have anything to say? You missed the presentation, and it was all about Egypt and the prosperity of Egypt and the fact that the scientific proof that Egyptians were Black Africans, and what Egypt did and how long they reigned for. And they were leaders of the world before, from 3100 BC right on to 30 BC, when the Romans conquered them. And it's all about their trade and their wealth and their contribution to civilization. But you missed it. What do you have to say?
Okay, yes. First of all, good evening, everyone. Well, I just wanted to react based on what Sir Sylvan said, and it's with regards to Africa. And I think Africa, we need to be more strategic, because if you see why these developed countries are developed is because they've been able to position themselves very well. Let me give an instance. I have there's a friend of mine who is on a master's program, and she was complaining to me how much she had spent on reagents. So her project is something on microbiology. I didn't ask her about what the project was all about. So, but then I began asking myself, why should these reagents have to be sourced from overseas? Why can't we produce these things here in Africa? So, and for instance, the reason why why they are very successful is just this: they position themselves
they have
in such a way
infiltrated
that
us.
they position themselves in such, okay, for instance, we have raw materials, but we cannot utilize them because we need some form of technology transfer from these countries. And we need to work we need to work with our strengths. So when the likes of when they say, okay, we want to take your minerals, or we want to take your raw materials, we should say no. Why not come into our country and utilize those minerals right in our country? Then you can then export those
they
things.
have got the weakest and most corrupt of leaders and installed them within our country and killed all the ones that are progressive. So you have to agree that we are trying. Even Nigeria had a good president at one time. I think the first president after independence was a very good man, and he was killed.
Yes. And I think we also had one.
Even though we are trying, there are tremendous things against us, and they've been doing this mindset thing for centuries. It will take time for us to realign our mind and feel proud of ourselves again.
Yes.
Nigeria is a very strong country, but the leaders, unfortunately, have been bought.
Yes.
And the one good leader you had was killed.
Was he killed? Okay, yes. That was in the beginning.
The very first
but
leader
there was
that
also
led into independence.
There was also one other very good leader. There was also one other very good leader, Musa Yar'Adua. He didn't last long in his presidency.
Last long. Even little Sierra Leone had a very good leader. Every country has had good leaders, but we don't know about them. Even Sierra Leone had Andrew Jackson Smith, and he, in the pace of 1 year, he turned that very poor country into a small profit. Just 1 year. It didn't take long. And he was quick. The Europeans panicked, and he was quickly. They quickly arranged a coup, and he was sent away.
Taken out. So I think the problem lies with humans generally. people, I don't know, but I think people generally people love evil more than good. Because if you look at the life of Jesus Christ, he was a totally innocent man, but look at how he was killed. Then I've also come to an understanding. If, for instance, okay, I've cited this example before. You find there are some, I mean, the persons, they call themselves Christians, but they are just Christians by name. They close down government offices in the name of prayer, but at the end of the day, when it comes to doing the right things, they don't do it. You cannot, if you want to move your containers, you must bribe, and you begin to ask yourself, this person, an hour or 30 minutes ago, this person was speaking in tongues and shaking, praying vigorously. So you begin to ask yourself, this same person that was praying vigorously, was he praying vigorously to God? Please send a lot of persons that I'm going to collect bribes from. So it's and the thing with this is that if you decide to stay on the path of right, the same persons you are doing that for are the same persons that will turn against you.
Thank you for your message in the chat. Names of 3 African popes: Pope Victor I, Pope Miltiades, and Pope Gelasius I. These were all Black North African popes. Thank you, Benjamin, for that. Benjamin is a Roman Catholic.
Thank you.
Yeah. Lasanda, you are Nigerian. Do you have anything to say? Can you unmute?
Good evening, everyone. I don't have anything to say for now. Just following the conversation.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Dennis comes from, he's Sierra Leonean, but he lives in Liberia. I think you're having a problem with the internet. Even Peter can't unmute. Peter, can you unmute? I don't know if they're hearing us at all. But Peter was here right from the beginning. And I hope he heard the presentation. Yes. Well, we've come to an end. We just want to say Africa Hopes in Christ plans to go into schools and teach the children, funds permitting, Pan-Africanism, in order to change the mindset that of Africans. And we want to do this not only in the countries that we operate in Africa. For now, we're operating in Sierra Leone, and we want to do it in all the countries in Africa that we operate in, as well as the USA and UK and Europe, because they need to know the importance of Africans' contribution, because they're told by their teachers that Africa did not do anything for the civilized world, and we were naked, running in bushes, and it was Europeans who civilized us. This is not true, but this is what they teach their children in school, and that is why there's so much racism, because when they get to adulthood, that idea of Africa is solidified in their minds. So we don't know how possible it would be, but we understand there will be some schools that would be willing to accept us. And if not, we can always do an online school and advertise it for people to come. That there's more than one way to catch a monkey. So this is all. We've come to an end now. We thank you for coming, and a lot of you missed the presentation, but if you come early at 7 p.m., you will see the presentation and you will be able to contribute meaningfully. What I said, roughly speaking, was about the civilization of Egypt, and Egypt was a world leader for 3,000 years. and I outlined their trade and their wealth, and the fact that the DNA and archaeology evidence and the DNA evidence that they were Black people who ruled the world in 3000 BC, which is about 5,000 years ago.
That's right.
So we've come to an end now. Thank you very much for coming.